Have you ever been told that the quickest way to heal a broken heart is to find someone new? That jumping into bed with a stranger will magically erase the pain of your last relationship? Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to admit. This widespread advice might be keeping you trapped in emotional limbo for months or even years longer than necessary. Today, we're diving deep into the murky waters of rebound relationships to uncover when they actually help you heal and when they become emotional quicksand that pulls you deeper into dysfunction. I spent 3 years researching relationship psychology and interviewed over 200 people about their post-breakup experiences. What I discovered will completely flip your understanding of rebounds on its head. Some rebounds genuinely accelerate healing, while others create a psychological prison that keeps you obsessing over your ex for years. The difference comes down to timing, motivation, and something psychologists call emotional readiness markers. Let's start with the hard science. When you experience a significant breakup, your brain undergoes what researchers call attachment trauma. The neural pathways associated with your former partner remain hyperactive, constantly seeking resolution and closure. Your dopamine and serotonin levels plummet while cortisol spikes, creating a biochemical cocktail that mimics withdrawal symptoms from addictive substances. This isn't metaphorical heartbreak, it's literal neurochemical chaos happening inside your skull. Now, here's where rebounds get complicated. A healthy rebound can actually help rewire these damaged neural pathways by introducing new sources of positive reinforcement and attachment. When done correctly, a new relationship provides fresh dopamine hits that gradually replace the craving for your ex's validation. However, a toxic rebound does the exact opposite. It creates what I call phantom attachment, where you're physically with someone new but emotionally still tethered to your past relationship. The timing factor is absolutely crucial, and most people get this catastrophically wrong. Research shows there's an optimal window for rebound relationships that falls between 6 weeks and 4 months after a significant breakup. Jump in too early, and you're using the new person as an emotional bandage rather than a genuine connection. Wait too long, and you risk becoming so comfortable with single life that integrating someone new becomes unnecessarily difficult. But timing alone doesn't determine rebound success. Your underlying motivation matters even more. Are you seeking a new relationship because you genuinely feel ready to connect with someone, or are you desperately trying to prove to yourself and others that you're over your ex? This distinction separates healing rebounds from destructive ones. Healing rebounds emerge from abundance and readiness. Destructive rebounds stem from scarcity and fear. Let me share 3 real case studies that illustrate these principles. Sarah, 28, ended a 4-year relationship and immediately started dating her co-worker Mike within 2 weeks. Every conversation with Mike somehow circled back to comparing him with her ex, Jason. She constantly found herself explaining why Jason did things differently or better. 8 months later, Sarah broke up with Mike because she realized she never actually liked him as an individual person. She had simply projected her unresolved feelings about Jason onto their relationship. This is classic phantom attachment. Contrast that with David, 31, who waited 3 months after his divorce before casually dating Emma. David had spent those 3 months in therapy, reconnecting with friends, and rediscovering his individual interests. When he met Emma, their conversations focused on future plans, shared values, and building something new together. David rarely mentioned his ex-wife, unless directly asked about his divorce. 2 years later, they're engaged, and David describes feeling genuinely healed from his past relationship. Then there's Amanda, 26, who represents the middle ground. She started dating Carlos 6 weeks after ending an emotionally abusive relationship. Initially, Amanda used Carlos as emotional support while processing her trauma. However, she was transparent about her healing process, and Carlos was genuinely supportive. Over time, their dynamic shifted from Amanda healing through Carlos to both of them building something independent of her past. The key difference was Amanda's self-awareness and honesty about her emotional state. These stories reveal the critical markers that separate helpful rebounds from harmful ones. First is the speed and intensity red flag. If you find yourself saying, "I love you" within the first month, planning major life changes together, or feeling like you can't function without this new person, you're likely recreating the same codependent patterns that existed in your previous relationship. Healthy rebounds develop gradually with appropriate emotional pacing. The second major red flag is lack of genuine curiosity about your new partner as an individual. Do you find yourself more interested in how they make you feel rather than who they actually are? Are you attracted to them primarily because they're different from your ex, rather than because of their unique qualities? This suggests you're using them as a reaction to your past rather than embracing them for their present reality. The third and most damaging red flag is when your ex remains the emotional center of your new relationship. This manifests in constantly comparing your new partner to your ex, bringing up your past relationship during intimate moments, or feeling the need to make your ex jealous through social media posts about your new relationship. If your ex is still occupying significant mental real estate, you're not ready for a genuine rebound. But here's where the conventional wisdom gets it completely backwards. Most people assume that any rebound relationship that doesn't lead to long-term partnership represents failure. This couldn't be further from the truth. Some of the most therapeutic rebounds are short-term connections that serve as emotional bridges between your past trauma and future readiness. These transitional relationships teach you that connection is possible after heartbreak without requiring lifelong commitment. The key is approaching rebounds with radical honesty about your intentions and emotional capacity. If you're seeking distraction, own that motivation instead of pretending you're ready for something serious. If you're trying to prove your desirability, acknowledge that need without manipulating someone else's feelings. This level of self-awareness prevents rebounds from becoming mutually harmful experiences. I want to address the elephant in the room regarding physical intimacy. Many people assume that casual physical connections automatically qualify as rebounds, but this isn't necessarily true. Physical intimacy without emotional investment can actually be more healing than emotionally charged relationships that you're not ready for. The problems arise when physical connections create false emotional bonds, or when you use physical intimacy to avoid processing your actual feelings. There's also the question of whether you should tell your rebound partner about your recent breakup. Transparency is generally healthier for both parties, but the timing and depth of this disclosure matters enormously. Mentioning your recent single status early in dating establishes honest communication. However, trauma dumping about your ex during the first few dates suggests you're not emotionally available for a new connection. Social media adds another layer of complexity to modern rebounds. The temptation to showcase your new relationship as proof that you've moved on can actually sabotage your healing process. If you're posting about your rebound primarily to make your ex jealous or to prove your desirability, you're still emotionally invested in your past relationship. Healthy rebounds don't require external validation or performance. Here's the counterintuitive truth that changes everything. The most successful rebounds often happen when you're not actively seeking a rebound. When you're genuinely focused on personal growth, rebuilding your social connections, and rediscovering your individual interests, you naturally become more attractive to potential partners. This organic approach to post-breakup dating creates connections based on mutual compatibility rather than emotional desperation. The timeline for complete emotional recovery varies dramatically between individuals, but there are universal markers that indicate readiness for genuine connection. You should be able to discuss your past relationship without intense emotional activation. You should have clarity about what you learned from the experience and how you want to approach future relationships differently. Most importantly, you should feel excited about building something new rather than simply escaping something painful. So, does your rebound make healing worse or help you move on? The answer depends entirely on your motivation, timing, and self-awareness. Rebounds rooted in abundance, curiosity, and genuine readiness for connection can accelerate healing and restore your faith in relationships. Rebounds driven by fear, desperation, and avoidance will keep you emotionally trapped in patterns that prevent genuine growth and healing. Remember, there's no universal timeline for healing, and there's no shame in recognizing when you're not ready for something new. The bravest thing you can do after a breakup is choose healing over distraction, even when healing feels more difficult and uncertain than jumping into someone else's arms. If this video helped you understand your own rebound experiences or gave you clarity about your current emotional readiness, please hit the like button and subscribe for more relationship psychology content that challenges conventional wisdom and helps you build healthier connections.